Good evening, this 24th of January 2017. We are glad you're watching Ibru TV Primetime News. My name is Zainab Ismail, but before we get into it, the headlines. Voter IEBC denies receiving complaints of foreigners being brought into the country to register as voters.
Nani aliweka hiyo lami?
Stop spreading lies and propaganda against Jubilee, President Uhuru tells opposition leaders. Man bans wife in Zika for allegedly finding a text message in her phone. And Tunisia joins Group B leaders Senegal in advancing through to the last 8 of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations. Welcome to the program. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Justice Madenge. Our top story. President Uhuru Kenyatta today lashed out at the opposition for allegedly spreading lies and propaganda against the Jubilee coalition. He further criticized the opposition for tarnishing his name and that of the deputy as a patronage for votes. He spoke this during his visit to Garissa. Our reporter Dina Matengo has more.
Mid-afternoon, the presidential chopper touched down in Garissa. The head of state, in his second week of campaign trail of the mass voter registration, visited the region in a bid to amass the regional votes. Accompanied by Garissa Town MP Aden Duale, President Kenyatta was welcomed by a cheerful crowd, this time with a specific message.
Hawa Somali wameamua mwaka huu ni Uhuru Kenyatta. Wakiingia kwa kura, mnasema nini? Uhuru Kenyatta.
Vijana wengi wametoka pahali wanaishi kupeleka ng'ombe zao wakitafuta malisho na maji. Si ni kweli? Tumesema hawa pia lazima wafuatwe pahali walipo, wahakikishe ya kwamba wamepewa vitambulisho vyao na wamepewa kura yao ya kupiga. Wasiwe wamenyimwa nafasi hiyo ati kwa sababu ya kiangazi.
And as he rallied the crowd to get him voting cards, he took a swipe at the opposition for allegedly spreading lies and propaganda against the Jubilee coalition. The president also pointed on the development projects that have come up in the area since his government took power.
Hii town ya Garissa ilikuwa na lami mbele ya Jubilee. Nani aliweka hiyo lami? Si ni Jubilee?
The culmination of his visit was the official opening of the Jubilee County office. The president's visit comes barely a week after the opposition toured the region with the same script and former Deputy Speaker Farah Maalim expressing confidence that he would oust the incumbent MP Aden Duale. Dina Matengo, Ibru TV.
Now, government spokesman Eric Kiraithe has condemned the incident in Bungoma where Deputy President William Ruto was heckled at. Meanwhile, the leaders of Bungoma's touts and taxi operators were summoned to explain why Deputy President William Ruto was blocked from conducting a rally in Bungoma town during his tour on Monday. Deputy President William Ruto was forced to change his route when a crowd stood in his way, saying the Jubilee government had not kept its promises. The youth who were chanting pro-NASA and ODM slogans destroyed Jubilee campaign materials that had been given by Governor Kenneth Lusaka's team and gave police a tough time as they tried to restore calm. According to the PSV operators chairman Osman Simiyu, they have now been summoned by the Bungoma police station OCPD to appear on Tuesday morning.
Tutani kwa sababu hakuna mtu stage anahusika na fuja yote. Tulijaribu sana vile sisi tunaweza, hata ile bana kitaka kwenda kuchomwa tulikuwa mimi na Mundu na akwe na group nyingine tukuzie hiyo karatasi ya Jubilee sichomwe. Sasa kama kuna mambo ambayo anaweza pindua hapo mzigo ibaki kwa hata stage hiyo tunajimwona tumekuja kujaribu kupinga.
This is a cosmopolitan town na watu ambao inaeleweka vizuri. Watu wote mgeni yote akitoka hawa jamaa gani lazima tupewe nafasi azungumzie, kama kuna swali muulize lakini si hata mnasimama mnaanza kuchoma vitu. That one is not there in this county and I'm addressing you as a chief. Never repeat that in that case.
Following the same incident, government spokesman Eric Kiraithe expressed deep concern over the incident, calling on security officials to take charge and ensure such incidences do not reoccur.
Free and fair election must be independent of any violence, of any intimidation, and every citizen has a right to join a political party, to campaign for that party, and to vote for the party of their choice without intimidation.
Meanwhile, Bungoma Governor Kenneth Lusaka rubbished allegations that the deputy president was forced to change route after rowdy youth at the Bungoma bus stage blocked the way. Lusaka said that it was not on the DP's itinerary to visit Bungoma bus stage as he was heading through Mateka Buyofu route in Bumula to check on the ongoing road projects.
Na watu waheshimiane, kama mtu amechagua kwenda kwa chama fulani, hiyo ni demokrasia yake, iwe amekubaliwa kufanya hivyo, pia aheshimiwe kufuatilia masuala ya chama ambacho ameingilia. Kwa hivyo nimeonelea kwamba tuweke sahihi maneno haya ili ile perception ambayo imekuwa created kwamba watu walikuwa hostile hapa imekuwa nini iweze kurekebishwa.
Lusaka, however, said that it was in bad faith for such acts to happen as they are drums of violence and leaders supporting that should not be elected by the voters. He said that all leaders are welcomed in Bungoma County any day, any time. Well, as that takes place, IEBC has denied receiving complaints of foreigners being brought into the country to register as voters. IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati denied receiving such reports, saying that only Kenyan citizens are allowed to register as voters. Chebukati also said that they are working with the National Registration Bureau to clean up all shared IDs, as well as prosecuting people who will be found guilty of registering twice.
The mass voter registration exercise continues in the country. However, double registration and use of similar ID numbers still remains a challenge. There are 126,926 records of shared registration documents. 107,777 out of them shows same ID but different names. 53,671 of the IDs were shared more than once. IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati said they are working with the National Registry Bureau to curb this situation, as well as prosecuting those found to have been registered more than once.
The shared IDs could be as a result of the following. These are the scenarios we have looked at. 1, data entry errors at the time of registration. 2, possible use of one ID to register more than once. 3, attempted registration of more than one person using the same ID. And 4, shared national ID numbers.
Chebukati also denied receiving any reports of foreigners from neighboring countries being ferried to register as voters in the country.
Information haijafikia sisi dume, ndio nasikia sasa kutoka kwako. Kuna serikali iko, kuna wale security officers, kuna immigration department. Na hiyo kama inaendelea, hiyo ni kitu lazima sisi kama dume tunasema haifai kufanywa. Kama wewe si Mkenya, hauruhusiwi kuja hapa kujiandikisha kupiga kura.
Earlier today, CORD said that the National Intelligence Service, NIS, is heavily involved in the ongoing voter registration with the aim of influencing results in August in the same way it did in 2007 and 2013. So far, 145 Kenyans have been registered as voters. For Ebru TV, I'm Velma Mrenje.
Now, Parliament has approved the supplementary budget for the remaining financial year, which will, among other things, include the last batch of financing for the general election. After convening from recess, the legislators vehemently passed the motion in their 5th session of the 11th Parliament. The sitting that was attended by a limited number of MPs also approved the addition of members to the House Business Committee. The 11th Parliament now stands adjourned until Wednesday, January 25th, when it's expected to debate pending bills and other pressing national issues. With only a few months to election, MPs also called for peaceful elections come August this year. Among the most important matters the National Assembly is going to handle in its last session is the budget for the 2017-2018 financial year.
Check areas like Baringo, those people are having a big problem, Mr. Speaker. There is no water. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is the responsibility of this government to make sure these Kenyans get water like any other Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support.
That will help us move forward towards the elections. Mr. Speaker, I support the motion.
I think we shall go down in history as having done most of the work which was put in front of us, Mr. Speaker.
Those who are counter opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
A woman from Zika is nursing serious burns after being burnt by her husband for allegedly having an affair. Pauline Mugure was burnt with a stove and boiling stew and has moved from hospital to no reprieve due to the doctor's strike. But not all hope is lost. A good Samaritan came her way and is offering help. Take a look.
Misunderstanding and lack of communication has almost cost this young mother her life. Pauline Muguru was burnt by her husband with a stove and boiling stew after he found a suspicious message on her phone.
Alipochokora akapata message nilikuwa nimeandikiwa na kijana alikuwa ameniandikia kitambo. Alikuwa ameniandikia, alikuwa ananiwelcome ati aende akanibaie chai. Then all of a sudden nilipoamka kwenda kuchota maji, mimi niligundua tu ile stove amenigonga na stove na amenigonga na nyama zenye zilikuwa stove juice.
Her husband was later forced by their neighbors to rush her to hospital, where she was admitted at Zika level 5 before she was referred to Kenyatta National Hospital for further treatment.
Neighbors walipokuja wakamlazimisha, hata alikuwa amekataa kunipeleka hospitali, wakamlazimisha nipeleke hospitali.
Unfortunately, the medics' strike has forced the hospital to discharge her before she had fully recovered. However, with the help of a well-wisher, Pauline is set to undergo further treatment and later for a reconstructive surgery in India.
I believe, God willing, we are going to take her to India so that she can have plastic surgery. And we got her, and today, God willing, we are taking her to the hospital. I want to start with MP, and from there, I can keep her at my place if nothing else comes up.
Pauline's mother, Jen Wanjiku, welcomed the kind gesture but urged the striking medics to consider resuming on duty to avoid more patients dying or suffering in their homes.
Sasa mtoto wangu alipelekwa Kenyatta, akapatiwa ruhusa na sio ruhusa. Tafadhali mimi naomba wadaktari wote warudi kwa sababu watoto wetu wengi wanakupia kwa nyumba.
Pauline's husband, Francis Kimani, is still at large as he fled away with their 2-year-old daughter. Investigations have been launched into the incident.
A quite unfortunate incident then. We hope she gets well soon. Now, as the doctors' strike continues to bite, a middle-aged woman gave birth alongside the road in Kitui County on Tuesday as she was heading to seek medical help from a private hospital. This follows a hostile reception in a public hospital in the area. Jerry Njogu has more on this story.
Shock and disbelief is visible on the faces of Kitui residents. This is after a middle-aged woman gave birth to a baby boy along the streets of Kitui this morning. The victim, who is headed to a private health facility, is said to have been turned away from Kitui Level 4 Hospital right around the time she began developing labor pains. Eyewitnesses have an account of the incident, condemning the inhuman action of the hospital. However, efforts to get a comment from the hospital management bore no fruit.
Akakuja karibu na mimi akaniambia amebuguza hospitali na yeye akona uchungu anaumwa.
Nikatandika baby show hapa chini hivi, alikuwa na towel, nikatandika hapa chini, akachuchuma mtoto akaanguka wapi, hatukumaliza 2 seconds mtoto akaanguka hapa, nikachukua embe nikakatanisha mtoto.
Private hospitals are now increasingly getting overwhelmed by a rising number of patients as doctors' strike continues to bite, entering its 52nd day today. Reporting for Ebro TV, I'm Jerry Njogu.
Now, Kenya's tea export earnings declined by 3.6% in 2016 compared to the previous year due to a rise in volumes at the auction, whose impact was partly mitigated by a strong dollar. However, the government yesterday projected a record growth of earnings to 133 billion shillings this year, driven by good prices and reduced volumes. A report by Agriculture and Food Authority shows that the earnings dropped from 125 billion shillings in 2015 to 120 billion shillings last year. The tea volumes increased by 18% to 473 million kilograms from 399 million kilograms in 2015, pushing down the average price of the beverage to 236 shillings per kilo last year from 298 shillings in 2015. The negative impact was slightly mitigated by strong dollar rates. However, the ongoing drought is expected to cut tea production by 12% to 416 million kilograms. Consequently, export volumes are expected to drop by the same margin, while export earnings are projected to hit a record of 133 billion shillings in 2017. Alright, let's take a look at what's been making headlines in the world of sports now. And former Gor Mahia's forward Michael Olunga is the latest player to join the Chinese Super League, which has recently attracted several top players from Europe with lucrative money offer. Olunga will now be playing for newly promoted side Guizhou Zhisheng Hanfeng after an agreement with his Swedish side Djurgårdens. The striker had attracted interest from Russian giants SKA Moscow as well as Turkish side Galatasaray before he switched to the Chinese side for an undisclosed fee. Olunga joined Djurgårdens in early 2016 on a 4-year contract and went on to finish as the club's top scorer. Tunisia joined Group B leaders Senegal in advancing through to the last 8 of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations as they thrashed Zimbabwe 4-2. Meanwhile, Senegal settled for a 2-all draw against Algeria in the other match played last night. Take a look.
Tunisia were the 4th team to book a slot in the knockout stage of the 2017 AFCON action in Gabon following their 4-2 outclassing of Zimbabwe. Names Liti opened the scoring for Tunisia following his deflected shot on the 10th minute of the game.
He has a chance for a long-range shot. Goal for Tunisia. 2-1 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 Tunisia. Sleety gets his second of the tournament. And
the North African side then added 2 more goals before Knowledge Musone pulled one back for Zimbabwe.
On the line now, Musona, still Musona, gets the shot in, gets the goal. Zimbabwe have pulled one back.
Wadi Hazri added the 4th goal for Tunisia through a penalty kick after Tahaya Seniors brought down before Tendai Ndori scored for Zimbabwe to make things to end 4-2.
Ball inside, this is better stuff. Chance for Zimbabwe, goal for Zimbabwe. Stuck away by Tendai Ndoro.
In the other Group B action, Algeria were abandoned out of the tournament after their 2-2 draw against the group leader Senegal. Islam Slimani broke the deadlock for Algeria before Pap Diop leveled for the Lions of Taranga.
It's there's the equaliser.
Islam Slimani once again put Algeria in front after a controversial goal, but his joy was short-lived as Moussa Sow equalized for Senegal a minute later to make things 2-2.
Don't think there was too much doubt about that, despite the protests. Now Sow! Cracked in by Moussa Sow. The lead only lasts.
Following the results, Algerian head coach Georges Likens announced his resignation from the team. The AFCON action continues tonight as DR Congo will lock horns with Togo, while Morocco will battle it out with Ivory Coast in the Group C and counter matches. Bran Owino, Ibu TV Sports.
Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this evening. Many thanks for keeping us company. My name is Zainab Ismail. Tonight, our sign language interpreter was Justice Madenge. Have a lovely night. God bless.